With Lord Edmund Tully now at his side, Aegon's campaign now had a significant foothold in Westeros. His next objective was the Stormlands. He sent a large portion of his forces accompanied by his friend Orys Baratheon and his sister Rhaenys. These forces were surprised by Storm's End bannermen who slew over 1,000 Targaryen forces before hiding in a nearby forest. Rhaenys took her dragon Meraxes and obliterated their cover, forcing a retreat. Harenhal's demise had reached King Argilac, and now his bannermen were arriving with news of a dragon's power. The king sought not to boil within his own walls and took up arms in the open field against an outnumbered Orys Baratheon. But Rhaenys witnessed the Stormlanders approach long before they arrived, and Orys was able to position himself with an advantage in the hills. With heavy rain, Argilac and his men found great difficulty in their approach. Eventually they broke through to find Rhaenys and Meraxes at the centre of the fight, but there was no match for the dragonflame. King Argilac, now on foot, was holding off a dozen men when Orys arrived. Argilac was given one more chance to yield, but again refused. Orys attacked and killed the Storm King, forcing his followers to drop their weapons and flee. King Argilac's daughter took title of queen and wanted to continue fighting the invaders, but her bannermen took her chained and gagged naked, then delivered her to Orys Baratheon seeking peace. In the west, King Gardner of the Reach and King Loren Lannister combined forces to produce an army of 55,000, the largest Westeros has ever seen. Word of their alliance spread to Aegon, and he assembled a much smaller but more mobile contingent along with his two sisters. The two sides met to the west of Blackwater Rush. The Targaryens mounted their dragons and rained fire from the sky. Aegon set fire to the men in the middle of the pack, while Rhaenys and Visenya approached from behind, setting fire to the grassy field. Panic set in amongst the large army, and over 90% of their forces were soon killed. King Mern and his kin lost their lives in the flames, but King Loren Lannister survived and was later captured. He knelt in front of Aegon and was granted his land and lordship under Targaryen rule. Highgarden fell into the hands of Harlan Tyrell, who yielded and was named Warden of the South. In the north, King Torrhen Stark led an army of 30,000 towards the south. When he reached the Trident, the Northerners witnessed Aegon's position. The Riverlords, Westermen, Stormlanders, and the men of the Reach had gathered with 3 dragons circling above. He had received word of Harenhal and other fiery victories Aegon had claimed. Not wanting his men to suffer the same fate, he sent a messenger in the night to the Targaryens with intentions of bending the knee. In the morning, King Torrhen met Aegon and yielded. He was in turn named Warden of the North. Over in the Vale, Visenya and Vhagar flew over the Bloody Gate and landed in the courtyard of the Eyrie. When the Regent of the Vale approached her, she found her son, the King of the Vale, seated on Visenya's knee looking at the dragon. His mother smiled at Visenya, who smiled back. She surrendered to the Targaryens, and it is said that King Ronald was permitted a short flight with Visenya and her dragon. When Rhaenys flew to Dorne, she found a string of empty castles and keeps. Eventually she came across Maria Martell, former ruler of Dorne. She proclaimed that Dorne did not kneel and that they have no king. Rhaenys departed Dorne and it remained unconquered. Aegon eventually approached the final objective in his campaign, Old Town. When he arrived, the gates were open and Lord Hightower greeted him and offered his sword. Days later, the High Septon performed a crowning, naming him ruler of the realm. Aegon Fort became the new capital of the Seven Kingdoms, and the city surrounding was named King's Landing. Aegon gathered the swords from the fallen, then created the Iron Throne using Balerion the Black Dread as a reminder of the War of Conquest. Thanks for watching Quick Lore. Like and subscribe for more videos.